good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on which time you're seeing this video and which part of the world you're seeing it from. Welcome to Enuani Cultural Forum. Today is Sunday, and we decided to do a live stream. Perhaps we'll meet a lot of people online who will discuss with us. We're trying to look at the reason why a Benin or Igala prince will found a community and give that community an Igbo name. What are the odds? What are the possibilities that somebody from Benin or Igala would found a community and give it Igbo name? What are the odds? What are the possibilities of such things happening? Is it possible that someone from Igala or Benin will found a community and give it an Igbo name? What are the odds? So that's what we are looking at today. Most of the communities that you will see in Western Igbo land, the ones you will see in River State, they are all communities that bear Igbo name. The founder's name is also Igboid. But you will see these communities claiming that they are from Igala. Some will say that they are from Benin. How is it that the founders of these communities lost their language, lost their culture, lost their tradition, lost everything that is supposed to associate them, lost even their festivals, the things that are supposed to be handed down from generation to generation? I'm not talking of culture only now, because culture is dynamic. We're talking of traditions now, because traditions are things that you don't even know when they began. You just met them happening that way. It is very difficult to change because generations before you have done it that way. Things like burial rights, marriage rights, okay, all sort of rights that are observed in the cultures and traditions of these communities that cannot be rewritten, because it is difficult to change such. You can't change it, and they are still existing in these communities. And so we are asking today, can a Bini prince or an Igala prince found a community and give that community an Igbo name? Is it possible? What are the possibilities that such things can ever happen? So that's what we are looking at today, and I'm inviting you to join this discussion. Thank you so much, Joseph. You're welcome. Please, if you're just joining us, kindly double tap on the video to give it a thumbs up, and also share to your audience. We would like to have as many people today discussing this. So I'm going to write it as a question, as a poll, so that people can comment. Okay? I'm going to start a poll. Can a Benin Igala prince found communities and give them I'm trying to give a pool. Why are those there claiming Benin? Not bearing. Why are those claiming Benin Igala bearing? Yes, I've gotten it better now. Igbo names. Very well. Why are those bearing? Why are those claiming Benin stroke Igala bearing Igbo names? Very good. I've gotten what I wanted. One, they don't know. 2. They are fooling themselves. I've started the pool there, so I'm keeping it aside so that people can. Hey, okay, I've left it here. Okay, so people can see this and comment. Okay, why are those claiming to be from Igala, Benin, and all that bearing Igbo names? There are so many of such communities. Ones like Iselono or Iseluku. Some will say is now Uku, that it means great, not big. I laugh at such things when I see them. Such distortions. Because there is a great similarity between the Igbo language and what was used in Anidu, because there are Igbo people there. I've done a video documentary of words that are in daily use in Benin that are in Igbo language as well. Just to let us know that if you claim that this means this, Uku means big and great. Chuku means the big God, the great God. The same thing, Uku, UKU in Benin, because they don't have that KW in their alphabet. It's not a letter in the alphabet. So they have UKU, we have UKW. Their own means great. Uku here can mean big or great. So when they hear Isele Uku, they say, yes, it means Isele Uku, that it is their word. But the name of the founder of the community is Igbo, Igbo. Igbo is the name of the founder of Isele Uku. That cannot be changed. There's no way you can make that a Bini word. Yes, it's true. Even their market days, my brother Canary, the important thing is their market days. Eke, Oye, Aho, and Oko. If you ask them, they will find a means to defend it that it is a Bini word, because it is not something they created, it is something they met. So when you hear Igbo people telling you that Anidu stretched beyond where you call Anioma today, down to Bini, down to Ife, you say, Igbo people, you like to claim everybody. Come and dominate us. Nobody is coming to claim or dominate anything. It is the ages of the tribes. When I make a video and say that my own ancestors are among the returning Igbos from Ife, some people will say, that's not true. But that's the oral history we were told. Our ancestors came as the returning Igbos from Ife. Some stayed back in Benin, some stayed in Owo, some stayed on the road in Ado, some came back to this place called Western Igbo land. So because they don't have the story of how they moved from River Niger, they will now tell you they are not Igbo. But it is a case of reverse migration. Reverse migration in the sense that the people who are reversing this migration, their names were Igbo names. Their cultural practice is Igbo. Till today. I'm talking of my own lineage now, not even some other distant story. That the man Ezemu, a last born, Obodo, Anega, Ezenalia, and Ekelia, 5 siblings, and Etimuku, their relative, 6, came all the way with their father, Huye, and Amachi, their mother, all the way from Ife down to Afo, before they now spread to other parts of Western Igbo land. They are the founders of many communities in Western Igbo land, but they are returning Igbos. So when an Igbo man says Igbo land stretched up to that Ife, you say it's a lie. Until the Oni of Ife came recently, I think it was 2 years ago or 1 year ago, and made a video. That is one thing about history. One man is not the one who knows Igbo. When one man says a word in Igbo land, others who are from there will confirm it. When I say the meaning of a word now, somebody from a far place that I have not seen before, I've never been to his place, can confirm that this is what it is. That is what makes history history. Okay. Gerald is saying Igbo is Igbo. Igbos found their lands. That's true. That is true. It is very clear. Benin was once an Igbo village. A mixed Igbo village. There were many people of different stock in that village. That is why till today they still retain so many words that are Igboid. Till today. So I say I am from Oboluku. The word Obolo is the same everywhere in Igbo land. They don't have a meaning for that word Obolo. They don't even know what it means. But they try to lay claim to the Uku and say it is a Benin word. Uku, U-K-W-U, is the right spelling. But some spell it as U-K-U because for them, they don't have that Kwe in our Igbo alphabet. We have K, Kwe, K. That Kwe, K-W, is missing in their own alphabet. So they write U-K-U. Uku can mean great. When we say Chuku, Chuku can mean big God or great God that supersedes all other God. That is Chuku Benenu. That same way in Benin, Uku means big or great. In their own, it mostly means great. So when they hear Uku in the name of a community, they will say it's a Benin community. I just laugh. Most of their words are Igbo words. So it is very laughable to say a community is from Benin, whereas the founder's name is Igbo. The community's name is Igbo. Their cultural practices and traditions, Igboid. It becomes laughable when such community says they are of Igala or Benin stock. Some will even say as far as Yoruba. A community that did reverse migration back to Igbo land remains Igbo. If for any reason I travel to, let's say, United States, have children there, maybe my great-grandchildren were now up to 70, and they decide to live there for 200 years, it doesn't change the fact that they are Ndi Igbo. The day they decide to return back here, they will not be called Americans. They are still Ndi Igbo. That's what happened with our ancestors. Some people see migration as just one thing that if you go, you have gone. Migration is like traveling back then. Some people travel out of their kingdom for several reasons. For my kingdom, Ubuluku, some people migrated out of Ubuluku not by choice, by force. Some were banished. Some were fleeing from wrath of a crime either committed by them or by a family member. And in the past, if a family member has committed a grievous or a heinous crime, before the community will lynch members of that person's family, the family can run away. There can also be a decree by the kingdom to say, we are hereby banishing this family. In my community, there's a way it is done. Either a na-egbu onye gbu ọchụ in my own part of Igbo land, maka anyị na-ekwu na Igbo anaghị egbu mmadụ na anaghị agbafu emefu ọbara, but in my own community a na-egbu onye gbu ọchụ as an atonement. A na-ejikwa ọbara ewu na-eme ịkwa ọchụ. A na-eji ọbara ewu na-eme ịkwa ọchụ. Onye gbuo ọchụ, ọchụ wa arụ. Onye mma arụ dịka igbu ọchụ, a na-eji ọbara ewu na-akwa ọchụ. A na-akpọ ya ịkpụ alụ. Ịkpụ alụ in the sense that egbu ewu anwa, they will drag it on the ground for a distance. The person is like doing atonement for the sin that he's committed. In worst cases, that is when it is not a premeditated ọchụ. I hope we know what I mean when I say ọchụ. I don't want to be saying it in English so that this video will not have restrictions. Now, onye gbuo ọchụ back then, and it is not a premeditated one, perhaps it is manslaughter. If it is manslaughter, the judgment will be lenient that the person can use the obarewu to do restitution or atonement. Mana onye ahụ gbaa n'iruru That is a premeditated one. The person can either be pied or the family of that person can be entirely punished and banished from that kingdom. So when a family is banished for this purpose, it is usually for not less than 7 years. Imagine leaving your kingdom, going to another kingdom for 7 years. In these 7 years, some people now choose to tarry there, never returning back again to where they left. I have seen such instances. We call this secondary migration because the founder of this community came from somewhere and stayed. From his midst, people are now leaving again to found other places. We even have tertiary migration, primary migration, secondary migration, and tertiary migration within that same circle. So there are people who left their community because they were sent away, they were excommunicated, they were banished. There are people who left to go and look for greener pastures, as we see today among the Igbo, going to look for greener pasture, going to look for where it will be favorable for them. Some people sojourned in search of water. Some people sojourned in search of fertile land. The story I told the other time of a community called Umuaja, I will yet need to go back to my documents to find out the exact name of the man. But the story is that the man came to Umuaja, the place they call Umuaja. The name was not Umuaja. It was just a settlement of about 3 different lineages. So, the community now called Umuaja. The community now called Umuaja in Enuani. Listen carefully. The man came to that place with his wife. They said he saw this spring of water and a tree near it. And he has been thirsty. So he cleared around that area, saw this tree and cut it down. And they drank of the water. And he said, there is a spring of water here. Let me settle around here. Let me not go very far from it. This place I'm describing is very historic, so pay attention. It is in Enuani. It is the source of the river Ethiopia, the deepest underwater freshwater in Africa. The source of river Ethiopia. Find out about river Ethiopia. It is the deepest freshwater in Africa. So when you go to Urobo area, you'll be hearing river Ethiopia. When you go to as far as Yoruba land, you'll be hearing Onoku. Onoku's shrine is what I'm telling you about now. You'll be hearing people who sing Christian songs saying, Onoku power, oh, that. In Benin, they worship Onoku as well. Some call it Onoku, O-L-O-K-U-N. Some call it Onoku, O-N-O-K-U-N. But that Onoku is the main pronunciation from Okwani native. So this Igbo man, because he bore Igbo name, cleared this area and decided to settle around it. For many years, his wife had no children. And he settled around it. The next day, they came to fetch water. The tree that he cut down has already regrown back. And he said, I thought I cut down this tree vividly yesterday. And this tree is now back. Oh, that this place must be a holy ground. From that day, he set a boundary around that tree and decided that none of his descendants will ever cut that tree. No one should ever cut that tree again. And that their place is holy. He now set up a shrine near there, since he considers it a holy ground. As I speak to you today, every single day that the sun rises, no fewer than 100 to 200 pilgrims visit that place for prayers. They believe a woman who is barren can go there because his wife now gave birth and told people that it was because of that water from that stream. And people started coming there to come and fetch water. People started coming to do sacrifice. Years after, they will come and do Thanksgiving, and it became a shrine. In fact, as I speak with you as well, the Delta state government has beautified that place and made it a center of culture and tourism. So that tree is still standing, but it is now a very gigantic tree. It is an apple tree, I know every Igbo man knows what an apple tree is. It is also called apple tree. It is that place that the Oba of Benin comes as well to do sacrifices. So in Benin, they worship Onoku, but that Onoku is in Igbo land, in Okuani. So I'm just trying to describe for you how a community can be founded by an Igbo person and bear Igbo names. But then later generations after, you see people trying to say they are not Igbos, they came from Benin, but you're bearing Igbo names, you're practicing Igbo culture. So that tree is still there. I think in one of my videos where I was trying to chastise our brothers from Okwani who were saying that Okwani is older than Igbo land, I said no. So I put a picture of that tree, the apple tree. So people still go to Onoku. In fact, if you go to Google now, just go to Google. Let's do this experiment. Check your Google, open your Google application. Type Umuaja. Umuaja, the way you spell it in Igbo. U-M-U-A-J-A. Type Umuaja Shrine or Umuaja Pilgrimage Center in Delta State. That is where Oloku River is. That is the source of River Ethiop. If you type Umuaja, whatever you find, you can copy it and paste it here so that others can read. I can't post pictures as well. If not, assuming YouTube allows people to post pictures, I will post the picture of the tree that I just discussed about now. That community is called Umuaja because after that Igbo man founded that community, people started coming there to do sacrifices. And then they will pray. Till today, students who are in Delta State University, Abaka, some who are not having things easy for them will go there and make prayers, still come back there to do Thanksgiving and tell their friends. People go there on pilgrimage as if it's Mecca. It is Igbo land. And what I just described is an Igbo man founding a place and naming it after what happens in that place. The tree is called Apple Tree. It is written there in the history of the communities as well. And then the place is called Umuaja because it started with sacrifice. The man saw that the place is a holy ground, started doing sacrifices. The people started coming to pray there, and it was working for them. So that community is called Umuaja. Tomorrow you will see such person from there, you say he's not an Igbo man. Probably because he will say, my ancestors did not cross the river Niger. My own ancestors did not cross the river Niger. But it does not in any way limit my being Igbo. Everything that they do across the river, we do. Some people are products because Igbo land is very old. We have to accept this. Please, I'm just noticing now that I have to say this. Kindly double tap on this video to give it a thumbs up. Please, we have over 100 and something people watching. So it would be nice if we can come up on the algorithm as well. If you are not also a subscriber and this is your first time of seeing our videos, please use this opportunity to subscribe. Chimez, I agree to my brother, and Blessing, it's nice to have you on board. I'm seeing the comments of Nati Chinedu. Thank you so much. Said I'm from Newi and my ancestors are from Ndoni, current River State. Thank you so much. So the people of Ndoni, I have to speak a little about them, have relationships, strong one, with the people of Abo down to the other Okwani communities. If I go to Ndoni today, of course I've lived in a community near Ndoni. If I greet them or no, they will answer. If I greet them all the greetings that we greet in my own community, they will answer. They are now in River State. Some of them, you can't tell them they are Igbo. But if you go there, there's this popular musician from Anyoma called Obogo Konji. His music is enjoyed all over Igbo land. If you go to Port Harcourt, you will see them playing his songs. If you go to Ndoni, it's like his own town. In fact, he uses some Ndoni rich men to praise them in his songs. His name is Obogo Konji. He is the one who sang that song. Antonia Wachukwedo, Azuwa Shwashwo, Azuwa Gwawo, Anu Obi Nebuazu, Ada, Anu Obi Nebuazu. That musician. His song is played in Ndoni, they enjoy it very well. In Opobo, in Port Harcourt, every part of Ikwere areas of River State, everywhere in River State, in Oba, they understand what he's saying. They enjoy his music. Even in Benin, But you see these people, they will tell you they are not Igbos. Of course they are Igbos. But the question is, do they accept? They still practice Igbo culture. They still practice Igbo culture, but you will see them saying they are not Igbos. Their community bears Igbo name. The founder's name is Igbo as well. But you see them saying they are not Igbos. So the question is, can a Benin man, can an Igala man found a community? Well, I included Igala because if you go towards the Oko areas, the Oko axis, you will see the communities there. The same way you have Oko Amakom, Oko Anala, more than 12 communities in Oko part of Delta State who are related to the Oko in Anambra State. And I will tell you they were founded by somebody who came from Igala. These people who went to Igala and came back did not become Igala men or women. They are still Igbo. These people who went to Yoruba land and came back did not become Yoruba. They are still Igbo. Our brothers in UK, United States, Australia, the Caribbean islands, every part of the world, getting married and having children did not stop being Igbo. When they come back, they will remain Igbo. So there's a difference between migration out and then counter migration or reverse migration, as you call it. Some call it recoil migration. When somebody comes back in a recoil migration like Ezechima, Akalaka, and the rest, they did not become Bini people. They are still Igbo who went, lived somewhere, and came back. Like I said, people migrated for many reasons. Some migrated to go and search for food. Some migrated because they were banished or excommunicated by their kingdom and sent away. Some migrated in search of water. Some migrated because the land they were staying in is believed that they were cursed. Even in a community, some migrate away from their lineage. I know of a certain story of a man who was told to leave his family lineage, just like it is in the Bible as well. For those who are Christians who study, go and check the story of Gideon and the gods of his father's house. Okay, the very striking example is Terah, the father of Abraham. This one, you can read it in the Torah. You can read it in the Torah, not necessarily read it in the Bible, so that if you are not a Christian, it won't be a problem for you. You can read Abraham's story in the Torah. The father was told to leave where he was staying to another place, and he moved. There are several reasons why people leave their ancestral lineage. So in some cases in my community, if a man is not having children or he has children that will die, they will say, go and live close to the market. Go and live close to a refuse dump. They can give you crazy reasons to go and do. But if you do it, it will work. If it now works, the person will tarry there. But does not mean he is no longer part of the lineage where he migrated away from. So that's the people you usually hear them say, Ndi Onocha. That's those staying aside, those staying apart, those staying away, Ndi Onocha. That is the origin of the word Onitsha that you hear today. We have Ndi Onocha Meli, those that are staying by the side of the river, Ndi Onocha Meli, Ndi Onocha Meli, Ndi Onocha Meli. Are Umuaja who are staying close to the river. The others are not staying close to the river. We have Onocha Ubo, those who are staying close to the farm. Ndi Onocha Meli, those who are staying close to the river. So I don't know how to start explaining these things individually and separately, but I hope we all understand what they mean. I'm trying to relate it to our brothers who are Igbo, who at some point in time left Igbo land and sojourned far away. Some were craftsmen who went to the Oba's palace or his kingdom to do craft, whether for him or for his rich men or for his people, the same way we are doing today. That you hear that an Igbo man is a mortar, is in Bangladesh, is in Philistine, is in Pakistan, is in Russia. Anywhere you go to, you see them doing well. That is how it has been from time immemorial. So when these Ndi Igbo go to these places, eventually become big, maybe even bigger than the kingdom, like Ezechima almost became bigger than Benin. And he had issues with the Oba and he decided to go back home. When he returned, he did not become a Benin man. His journey did not start from Benin. His journey started from Ado in Yoruba land. That is why you will hear the Umuaja, but the people who like to twist history will remove this part that I'm going to say. They will call themselves Ndi Onichado Nidu. Onichado Nidu. Some will remove Ado and put Idu. Remember I said Ado, not Edo. Ado, which is in Ado Ekiti. That's where their journey started from Ekiti. In Ado, they moved to Idu. Confirming what I told you, that what we call it is Idu, not Edo, not Beni. Idu. They moved from Ado to Idu, then back to their homeland. Ezechima lived and died in Obio. Obio is just like 3 minutes from my community. I am from Ubuluku. He was also buried in Obio, in the home of his first son, because a father will be buried in the home of the first son. So when I see 3 communities dragging, we are the head of Ezechima clan. Iseluku will say we are the head of Ezechima clan. Onichubo will say we are the Okbale Ezechima. Umuaja, that is the Onitsha people of today. Onitsha Mili will say we are the head of Ezechima clan. I will laugh. Where is Obio? Where is Obio in all of this? Oheze can be understood because it is said that Oheze died while the father was alive. That's the father of the people of Onitsha Mili. But Ezechima, when he died, was buried in Obio. That signals the fact that that was the home where the first son is. So I've never seen Obio people claiming headship of Ezechima because they know the head. If you are the owner of a thing, you don't claim it. You just keep quiet and allow others to be fighting about it. So is it possible for a Benin man or an Igala man to found a community and name it, give it an Igbo name? Is it possible? All these communities, let me leave community, okay? Because if I say a community, it will look small. Let me use region. When I say Enuani, just like you're seeing our video, you know we are Enuani Cultural Forum. Enuani, when I say Enuani, I don't have to explain what it means to an Igbo man. But no Benin or Igala man will ever tell me the meaning of Enuani. You already know the meaning of Enuani, that it means upland. When I say Okwane, you already know it means lowland. All these names have meanings in Igbo. They don't need to be explained. When I say Aniocha, you know Ajocha how it is. This red sand is what we call Ajocha. So our sand is red mud. So we call it Ajocha. If you dig our ground, you will find Ajocha. So we call the whole area Aniocha. Interestingly, there is Anaocha in Anambra as well. The same will have Aniocha. You know, land is called differently in different dialects in Igbo. While we say Ani, A-N-I, the Onitsha people may say Ana, A-N-A. So they have Anaocha. We have Aniocha. So we have Oshimili as well for areas around the river. So the people of Asaba, Oko, Okwe, and the rest are Ndi Oshimili. Those who are close to the river. So these are Igbo words, Igbo terms, because in Igbo description and nomenclature, communities are named geographically according to the things that are found in that area. When we say Ndi Obolo, it is because the Obolo tree is the most predominant tree in that land area. So they are called Ndi Obolo. My own community called Obolo Uku is because there's a very big Obolo tree around the area that was first settled. And they will say the big obolo tree. That's where we draw our name. Now, every Igbo man also knows what is obolo inu. That is the tree we are describing here. And that is the tree from where our name obolo came. Obolo uku. Obolo tree. Our name came from obolo. These are Igbo ways of naming their place. According to an event that has occurred there, according to what is prevalent in the geographical terrain, the topography of the place can even help them to name a place. We have a place we call Enugu in my community. I will have Enugu in the eastern region. Enugu simply means uphill. Uphill. Different from upland, which is Enuani. When it is a land, we know it is a land. When it is a hill, we know this is what hill is different from land. Alright? So we have Enugu. In fact, to crown it, we call it Enugu because there's a river there. You know, where there is a hill, there will always be a valley. To have a hill, you will have a valley. To have a valley, you have a hill. So we have it, and we call it Enugu because there's a river there. A stream, so to say, because a river is Oshimili. A stream, smaller water body, is E, and it is usually a source of drinking water because it's usually of a water fountain. So this is the way Ndi Igbo name their communities after the geographical territory, after the prevalent topographical conditions of that place, after an event that has occurred in that place. After also a remarkable event or a remarkable outcome, like in the case of Ashabam, Ahabam, Ahabagum, I have chosen well. Now, it is believed that the founder or one of the people who made Asaba great, I can't say the founder because there were people who inhabited the place, okay, even if they are not always mentioned before he came. The man called Nebisi, whose mother is from Nteje. It is believed that he settled at Nteje. Historically speaking, there are accounts of 1912 of emissaries from Asaba going to Nteje, and they were told to go and tell their people to return, that they are welcome back home. It is their maternal home, Nteje community in Anambra State. Okay? Now, the man called Kainebisi is believed to have lived among the Nteje people, and because it is his maternal lineage, they were sharing things. What I'm telling you is obtainable in every community, even in my own community. If I decide tomorrow to go to my mother's village and stay, I will be welcomed. Everybody will treat me well until when I come of age to become the Diokbala, they will not give me any Diokbala. I will be preceded by 4 men. Why the number 4? The Igbo people don't joke with the number 4. 4 men, Eke Ori Afo Unko, 4 men will choose before me. If I choose to return to my mother's village and stay, I will not know the implication now until there is something to choose. So it is believed that there was something to choose. And Nebisi was reminded that this is his mother's place or not his father's place. And he got upset and left. Now found this place called Asaba and decided to live here. So when they were sending for him to come back and he refused to come, he told them to tell them I will not come back. I chose to leave and found a new place, and I have chosen well, Ahabagum. That is the origin of the name Ahabam. I have chosen well. I have chosen rightly. This is not a coincidence. And this is not the only place where this name is born. An older community called Ashama also exists in Enuani. The old one said, Ashamam, he left his 4 siblings. His name is Ekelieze. Ekelieze left his 4 siblings and went to a new settlement. When the brothers asked Why have you left us? Can you come back? Can you come back? He said, no, I can't come back. Ashamagem, I have chosen well. Ashama, we call them Ashama people. They call themselves Ahama, that is Ahamagom. Aharamihedemma. That's just what it means. I have chosen well. Asaba will say Ahabam. I chose well. What I chose made me to prosper. It's just describing somebody who left his geography to another place. So I have chosen well is different from what people try to paint it to mean. I've read books before this present day denials, and then I am also a neighbor of these communities. So as somebody who loves history, I like to interrogate the names of the community. If you look at the names of the communities from one community to another, you will find the same outcome. The same outcome. What of Ogwanri? Ogwanri. Ogwanri. Then they added Uku, Ogwanri, Uku. The big palace. The big court of Onri people. Some people say Ogwa because those who are revising history and changing things like to add new. They say Ogwa is a Benin word. No problem. What of Onri? It is also called Nshi. So that's why you have Ogwa Nshi. It is either Ahe. 3 names. Ahe, Nshi, or Uri. That's how Uri is called in this area. Some call it Nshi. Some call it Nhi. Some call it Uri. So Ogwanhi. Ogwashuku people who are natives don't even call it Ogwashi. They call it Ogwahi. That's Ogwanhi. While we who are their neighbors, because of our own tone, like S so much, call them Ogwashi. When I will say Shapum to means leave me, they will say Hapum, leave me. When I say Shari to mean choose, they will say Hari to mean choose. They don't like putting that S like us. So when we also put our S, they will put F or H in their own pronunciation. When I want to mention a market, I say Asia, Afia is what we call market. Afia. Them call it Asia. So these are just little dialectical differences that will make some people also say they are not Igbo. If I look at them, I will laugh. But the story of Ogwashuku is that one man called Oda Igbo, a prince from Ori, came and founded Ogwashuku. He also met a group of settlers who are called Ndi Ikehike. Please, if this is your first time of coming across our videos, kindly go to the channel and hit subscribe. That's one of the ways you can support us. I would have begun this video by acknowledging one of our brothers. His name is Chukwuemeka. His name is Chukwuma, not Chukwuemeka. Because the person who gave him my number said his name is Chukwuemeka. That's why I got confused. His name is Chukwuma. He's from Anambra State. He contacted me and supported us financially. So I want to use this means to thank him. Please also help me to thank him and pray for him. I don't know him in person. I've not met him before as well. He just decided to promote and support what we are doing. There are so many people who have also done so in the past. It is encouraged for you to do so if you can, if it's convenient for you. Encouraging what we are doing is supporting Igbo unity. There's never too small or too much that you can do to do this. We all put in sacrifices in the different ways that we can. Some put in time to watch these videos and then they spread the message. Some put in resources. There's some put in information. Some will say, give me your number. You give the person your number. Next thing you will receive is a link to a library where you can go and download books. I want to use this means to also thank my brother Osita Mod. He usually does that for me. And one of my brothers, Ogo Chuku Awono. have access to so many libraries all over the world where I can download books and read because I have these people as my brothers. They will just pay the entrance fee, send you the link, you go and download any book you wish to download. You download, read, and then back what you're saying with knowledge that is already established. There is so much knowledge about Igbo out there, but they are hidden. They wouldn't even want people to know about some. Some of them, if you say, hey, it's a lie, it's not true. You hear of punitive expedition of Benin. You have never heard that there were punitive expeditions in Igbo land as well. But you'll be hearing punitive expedition of Benin. They now packed the artifacts and went away and dethroned their Oba. There were punitive expeditions in not less than 5 communities in eastern Igbo land. Punitive expedition, the same one you read of in Benin. There were also punitive expeditions in Igbo land. It was, I think, 3 days ago that I was telling somebody that each time I read about Ekumeku resistance, I would just laugh. Because the communities that should be given credence, the communities that they should be talking about as the leaders of the Ekumeku resistance are not being talked about. The women warriors who fought in the battle were not talked about. So these are things that we will take out time and also do videos about so that people will know. Even the casualties that were recorded, the names were written out, especially on the side of the invaders, because they are invaders. I mean the British Army. Their own casualties were recorded, and where the casualties took place were also recorded. So when you come out as an Igbo community to say you are not Igbo, I just laugh at your stupidity, because these people know your community and what your community is capable of over 100 years ago. Imagine that you are from Owa. I'm using Owa as an example because that's an outskirts of Abo. And you are deceiving yourself that you are not Igbo. One of the British most prominent soldiers was spied in Owa, and they made sure they mobilized for more than 3 months and descended on Owa. Well, in this time too, I will have to thank the king of Owa, Obife Zomo, for coming out severally to say he's an Igbo man because he knows history. So after the activities in Owa, those communities are documented. When Obi Nzekwe and Okonjo, his sibling, were fighting for kingship in Ogwashuku, Nzekwe was the one leading the Ekumeku fighters in Ogwash area. And the Obi Okonjo was going behind to tell the white men about the activities of Nzekwe so that he can annihilate Nzekwe and take over kingship. Those things were documented. How many people the Nzekwe camp died were documented. When you surrendered, how many people that came with him were documented in British gazettes? So tomorrow somebody from Ogwashuku comes out and says he's not an Igbo man, the British man will be laughing at you. Because he knows very clearly that when they came, when there was no Nigeria, then when there was no Nigeria at all, it was just an empty land, you were an Igbo man. Someone will say IBO, it's not IGBO. Go and tell a British man to put GB in the letters of their own alphabet. They have 26 letters of their alphabet, and there's no GB in it. I don't know if they should have manufactured GB to add, so that you will know that you are Igbo and not Igbo. Some don't even bother to write IBO. They will write you as EBO. Igbo. Some will write you as HEEBO. Igbo. Whether they write it the way they want to or not, it does not in any way diminish the fact that you are Igbo. You have been gazetted by the British Nigerian government as Igbo. It's not something for you to choose. They know very well, those people, that you don't choose ancestry. You don't choose cultural identity. So we say, leave them. It's not by force. Is it by force to be Igbo? Must you people force everybody to be one of you? Nobody is forcing you to choose your cultural identity. You were born into it. You cannot change it. If my siblings offend me tomorrow or do something very, very painful to me that I decide I am no longer a son of Onwadi, no problem. That cannot change my blood. Stay carrying Onwadi's DNA. That cannot stop people outside from referring me as that Onwode son that keeps saying he's no longer Onwode. Because they know you. There are things you cannot change. There are things you cannot choose. Cultural identity is not a cloth that you just wear, and when it's not convenient for paying you, when there is heat, you remove it. It is in your DNA. You are born into it. Please, if you are seeing this video, kindly double tap on the video to give it a thumbs up. And also, if it's your first time of seeing our video, please go to the channel, look through it, look through the channel, click subscribe. You can hit the notification bell as well. If we are doing live stream like this, you'll be notified. Please double tap on the video to give it a thumbs up so that it can come up to 30, and then keep subscribing. If you are new here, subscribe. All what we do is bring out historical facts that prove the greatness of Ndi Igbo. It is important that we remind Ndi Igbo of their greatness. If you know that you are great, you cannot go and start denying your identity because somebody doesn't like you. If you don't like us, it doesn't change who we are. And I cannot change who I am because you don't like me. Our ancestors were not people pleasers. I don't know how many wars the Yorubas or the Hausas fought with the British, but there are records of more than 4 different wars our people fought with the British because they were not ready to bend. Before the British, the slave masters who came to take our people all the way to Denver Creek, beyond the point of no return, they also faced resistance. All over the world, even when they acted this very popular movie that broke records, Black Panther, you heard them saying, my ancestors refused to bow because they understood that death was better than bondage. Who do you think were the people who made that statement, death better than bondage? They believe that a bound man is a dead man. A man who is in captivity is a dead man. Those were the mentality of our ancestors. Today we have people who are claiming to be Ndi Igbo. If you do a little thing, they have bowed. If you praise them a little, they have denied their identity. This is why I don't also blame the people who are of the idea and notion that we have mixed blood people in our midst, people who are not originally Ndi Igbo. Because if you are an Igbo person, there's no amount of pressure that you will succumb to. No amount of pressure. If somebody doesn't like you, that's their headache. As it is in the song of, I think, Onye we ya biko we gbo ya kpomkpom also koso nwamkpe ya biko sugbo ya selense. As simple as that. If you like us, we are one. If you don't like us, also koso nwamkpe ya sugbo gi. I will not now say, I'm not really that fully Igbo. We are Delta, very close to Igbo. Not that main one, just to please you. If you don't like us, we don't like you. If you like us, we like you. It's an energy thing. E for energy. The energy you exude is the one we will return to you. Please, if you've not yet subscribed to my channel and this is your first time of seeing my video, please let me give you a minute to use this opportunity to subscribe. Also, those watching who have not in any way liked this video, double tap on the link. Double tap on the video as you're watching it. You will just see it. You immediately like the video. If you have also double tapped before, don't double tap again. It will unlike. There are ways you can support this video by placing your comment. There are so many comments here I wasn't seeing. Okay. General Okoye, Black Panther. Okay, that's true. Thank you. Yes, there's too much blood in our midst. That's true. Where is this? I didn't even notice the Abiola. Be quiet, Abe. Oh. Somebody has come here to make an ignorant comment. Hey, yeah. Abiola, sorry, It's not my fault that your people don't have such a channel where they come together. The major reason why some people hate on Ndi Igbo is this. The major reason why people hate on Ndi Igbo is this reason. That we can come together every Saturday, go for our meetings. One Igbo man can be selling water let me pick the name of a community. Let me say there's a community called Abavo, and one Igbo man comes to sell bottled water there. He sells this bottled water for 3 months, and he sees that bottled water business is moving in Abavo. That Igbo man will go back and bring Chukwuemeka, Nnamdi, and Okechukwu to come and help him in his business. If those people help him for 4 months or 1 year or 2 years, as the arrangement may be, and he discovers that their hands have become strong, he will open another bottled water shop downtown, send Okechukwu to go and manage it. After a small time, Nnamdi and the other one will graduate and they will open their own bottled water shop. Very soon, that whole line will be called bottled water area. It is only an Igbo man that will do this. Don't let anybody deceive you. If a Yoruba man opens bottled water shop, the next week another Yoruba man comes to open bottled water shop, the next month will be the burial of one of them. Because Ogun will buy that person immediately. It is only an Igbo man that has such mentality, such magnanimity, such mindset that we can grow together. Don't mind what anybody tries to deceive you. That only Igbo support somewhere. No ethnic group in the world can try this idea that I just told you and live and sleep at night. So I just saw your comment, Abiola, and I'm replying you this way: that you are only envious that only Igbo can come together and unite and discuss. Now, the people I'm discussing with here, I don't know them. Some of them are from states that I have not visited in my life. And we are conversing this way, in unity, in happiness. That is the pain that you're suffering from. Because it cannot happen in your own ethnic group. It is not possible for Yoruba to do it. If you doubt it, tomorrow come here and prove me wrong. It is only an Igbo man that will come to a community, open up a business. Let's say what this Igbo man is selling is Ankara material. Ankara material starts moving. The next 3 years, he has established more than 5 shops of Ankara material in that same community. Put his boys in them. His boys will graduate, he will open one for them. The next 3 years, these boys have become men, married, giving birth to children. As a small boy in my own hometown, because we have a very big house, we have tenement houses. I have a lot of people who came from eastern parts of Igbo land to stay in my father's house as tenants. Before he will run his shop 2 years, he will bring another 2 people. They will go and open their own. He will bring another young girl and say he's his younger sister. Before 3 years, you will see younger sister has 2 children. The younger sister was not a sister, it was his wife that he went home and married. This is Igbo for you. You can't change it. So it's an entrepreneurial mindset that is ingrained in our people that you cannot change. So Abiola, when you come to such platform, you won't Igbo. So you are giving yourself high blood pressure by coming in the midst of Igbo to listen to what we are discussing. I can't imagine myself. I can't imagine myself or an Igbo person who calls himself Igbo go to a Yoruba platform where they are speaking Yoruba and listening to how Oduduwa did this or how somebody migrated from Owo to Ilaje. No Igbo man will try it. It's only you people that are lost and foolish that will do this. So I didn't see your comment earlier, Abiola. I would have given you this photo a long time ago. I'm not a gentleman. I'm not a gentleman at all. So this is my brother who is from Ebonyi State. Thank you, blessed. This is my brother who is from Ebonyi State. Can go to Ebema in Rivers State and open a business. Okay, let me leave my brother from Ebonyi State and use an Ebonyi State person that I know on my street here. There's an electrician that when I move to the place I'm staying now in Asaba, he's the one who usually thank you so much for reporting that useless idiot. I've also reported him. So there's a man who usually comes to do my electrical works for me. He has done this electrical work like 5 times. One day I went to his shop, I saw more than 10 people dressing up. Where are they going? He said they are going to wire a building that they have a contract. I saw the language they were speaking. I said, where are you from? He said he is from Ebonyi State. Who are these ones? He said they are my brothers that they are learning work. Goosebumps all over my body. in this modern age where people don't like to learn work, this young man has gathered no fewer than 10 people from his place. He's teaching them electrical work, industrial one of it, house wiring, a skill that can never go out of fashion. There's no way this world will continue to change. I say technology has taken all the jobs, that an electrician will no longer have job again. So this young man has carefully created 10 young entrepreneurs under 25 years old. This is the mentality of Ndi Igbo. No other tribe, I tell you, can try it. If you are a Yoruba man, you are an electrician, you are doing work somewhere, and suddenly another Yoruba man from, this one is from Ekiti, the other one from Ondo comes and starts taking the work. Because how we call them is, there's one Yoruba guy. What we use Yoruba people to do is building in my place. Because they know how to do plastering very well. They are usually careful when they do plastering work and the erecting of blocks. So they will say, 3 Yoruba people are working for me. They will say, which Yoruba? I say, that tall Yoruba guy now. They will go and bring that tall fair Yoruba guy. I don't want to mention names, okay? If that tall fair Yoruba guy starts hearing tomorrow that there's another tall black Yoruba man, that is the beginning of juju. But if an Igbo man hears that there's another Igbo man doing the same work he's doing, oh, tomorrow you see them in the bar drinking. They are not from the same state too. They don't know each other. He will be asking you, that man in Aruroro, he are very careful. He will start giving you guidelines on how to work with the man. No envy. Next tomorrow you start hearing, no, one of my boy name is Behave. No, they will start exchanging boys. That is an Igbo man. Progressive. Zero hating. If you ever hear of misunderstandings between Ndi Igbo, it is overplayed because we have very poor PR. Go and try Yoruba people or Hausa people and see what is called juju and envy. Let them drop something for you in your shop. You go to one lane, you see Ndi Igbo, whether in Ochanja market, whether in Alaba market, anywhere you see them, you see lion shop doing the same business. If you ask a man, do you have this? He say, come check out the other shop. My other shop is not his shop. He's going to his friend's shop to help him sell something. Which tribe would try that? Which tribe? Meet an Igbo man, do you have this? He say, we just saw the last one this morning. Chere, just sit down. We'll give you chair. Even buy you mineral. Chere, Norodo, and Mabia. Let me go to my other store. It's not his other store. That is either his boss, where he graduated from, or his friend's own. He wants to sell that man's business. Probably with zero profit, because he will think he's also here after all. He will collect his own profit. Sometimes by the time you people finish negotiation, he will discover that this thing I want to sell is, I'm not going to make 1 naira from it. He will sell it and take the money back to the owner. That is only Igbo for you. Abiola, that can never happen where you come from. Thank you, my brother. It's again on your fame man because na Badobi. If you want to know what is called Sabo, that word Sabo that people use loosely, if you want to know the real meaning, Chotonyo fame man sorry in office. If you people close by 5, you will close by 7 to prove to Oga that he is very loyal. Igbo man will close by 5 and go back home. If you want to sack me, sack me. Unless there's something very important that they need to do. The Igbo man knows it more than you. He doesn't do eye service. So I didn't know how Abiola came and tried to scatter our conversation. Is there any way an Igbo, a Yoruba man, and Igala man or a Benin man can found a community and give it Igbo name? Mona Haroro too. They wanted to finish me. But Mona Haroro, Ndi aga arụka gị. Ọnwụ na ihe a ji emechi ọrụ 4 p.m. ndị a ga-emechi ọrụ by 6 so that no ga na-ahụ gị dịka ajọ mmadụ, ha abụrụ ezigbo mmadụ. I don't know why they think we're in a competition like this guy did. There are so many, usually every day, the people who are usually watching our live video, you always see them here every day. There must be one Yoruba person that comes to come and try to test his strength. What is your business in an Igbo platform? Good mindset. Thank you so much. Okay, Jay Chukuna, so we're all Igbo, and Igbo, what we call, whatever you call it, that's true. Whether it's Igbo, Igbo, anyone they call it, we are the same thing. So some people will just try and bank on that excuse that after all, in our own, they did not spell it that way. It means we are not the same thing. We are the same. Igbo bofu. Igbo bofu. No matter how it is spelled. Please, I'm going to end the live stream now so that I can edit the video I'm going to put out. And I'm pleading with you. Some of them I have met, really good ones, very, very good ones, that's true. Like with all ethnic groups, there are good and bad people, yes. If you meet a good Yoruba person, you know what they call loyalty. They are very loyal people. So we are not blanketing that every one of them is bad. But if you are to pick in levels, I don't know why ọtụtụ n'ime ha che na anyị na ha nwe ihe anyị na-azọ. Onwere anyị ihe anyị na ndị a na-azọ. Onye ọbụla anyị ka anyị kara ya. We are not trying to pitch ourselves ahead of you. But if you try to do competition, we'll show you. There's nothing to compete with or compete about. We are not the same people. We are far ahead of them. So we respect every group. But for a Yoruba person to see Igbo platform, this is an Igbo platform. I've said it here severally. I'm not looking to gather 1 million followers that are not in support of what I'm doing. I'm looking to gather 100,000 followers or 1 million who are die-hard Igbo, who I can discuss the progress and unity and prosperity and promotion of Igbo with. Not only of a man, unless an only of a man that is married to Igbo or that has interest of Igbo people at heart, not in Kegabieba na Koeri. So I'm not, this is an Igbo-centric platform. I'm not doing all those things that they say I'm decentral, I'm detribalized. I am tribalized, I am an Igbo man. Let me tell you a little thing about being tribalized. It's not what we choose. As a small boy, I na-ele football match. Ana agba match. Anyị were oge na-achọ ndị anyị ga-support. Ile anya na the team. Ọtụtụ mgbe anyị na-ahụ ndị ojii, ihu ndị isi ojii mmadụ anọ ka ise, immediately you start supporting the team. That bias came from birth. Onwere onye kụziri gị support one ndị isi ojii. We were just children. So I will not try to welcome everybody and then somebody comes here to insult Ndi Igbo. No. Like the other time, somebody came here and said, no woru. No nachondi oru garu yoru. Imagine that kind of comment now. If you check where this person is from, maybe Benin, the headquarters of Ndi Oru, because almost everybody there woru. Is that okay? What this person said, cheesy. Don't ever doubt it. What Cheesy just said the one that marries an Igbo, there are people who classify him or her as Igbo. I've seen them telling Davido because his grandmother, or not even his mother is from Benin. His grandmother is from, I think, Enugu State. I have seen them telling Davido that he, because of his Igbo blood, that he's doing all this nonsense that he's doing. I've seen them telling Eberechi, Yemi Alade, that she's an Igbo woman. It is just the mother that is Igbo. So once you marry an Igbo man as a Yoruba person, they have cancelled you. They have cancelled you. Unlike our people. There's so many of our people you will see marry Yoruba people. In fact, I don't know, but it just simply defines identity issue or inferiority complex. Because our person will marry a Yoruba person. Now we don't regard them as Yoruba. In fact, those Yoruba will now see their son and say, hey, their son is gone. Once a Yoruba man marries an Igbo woman, they will see that their brother, they will tell him goodbye. Please, my brother, I'm really proud of you. God bless you. I just want to add something. I am from Anambra State, and I want our brothers in Delta State to know that there are multiple dialects. Thank you so much, Santa Diaz. Now, most people don't know that. They think if you just get to Anambra, Oguta, Igala, Obosi, everybody speak the same dialect. It's wrong. It's not true. It's not true. If somebody from Nnewi is speaking, he will differentiate from somebody from Onitsha. If somebody from Obosi is talking, you will know that somebody from Obosi is talking. The same way, if I'm from Obuluku, I'm talking, you will differentiate from somebody from Ogwashuku. Ogwashuku different from Ibuzo. These are different communities that are neighbors. So Ibuzo different from Asaba. Asaba different from Okpanam. Every one of them is unique. Ela different from Ebu. So all the Anyoma communities don't speak the same dialect. That is how Igbo language is. In fact, it is a saying in Igbo that Igbo na su nonu nonu. So it doesn't end in Eastern Igbo land. It is in all part of Igbo land. Even in the community that I am from, quarter to quarter have different dialect. There's a way you will speak in my community. You are from my community, but if you mention a word, I will know that you are from so lineage. Your Obolo has been diluted. Obuluku speaks differently from Obolo. Okiti speaks differently from Obolono. They are all under Obolo clan. So when somebody says because our dialect is different, we are no longer Igbo, we just look at such person and brush it away with wave of hand. Cheesy, thank you so much. So he said, have you had someone from Akbo or Umuaja speak different dialects? Harry, hello, you're welcome. Cheesy says, even ordinary neighboring villages have different dialects and accents. Most people don't know that. I've seen somebody who has PhD from Asaba. He was writing, he says he lives in Abo. He's from Asaba. He says he lives in Abo, but he's struggling to hear what Abo people speak. How much more somebody from the Eastern Igbo land? That these Eastern Igbos think they will understand Abo, when himself, who is from Anyoma, has not understood Abo, therefore that we are not the same. If there's any place that is unique and diverse, it is Igbo land. Wait until somebody from Onsoka, which you call Eastern Igbo land, will speak. You will prefer to go and understand Imo State dialect. I've lived in Owerri, and I did not just live in a inside school camp. I stayed off campus. I lived in Eziobodo. Only how la miras na all school padaraya, all school padaraya. In what was it padaraya? All school padaraya, all here school, all ga school no. All the way of talking is different from other dialects. You now hear somebody from Mbise talk as well, different from Okigwe, different from Olo. All these places have distinct dialects. Instead of saying no, the way a man will say Olo, that is the Eziobodo person, say Olo. It's like saying oh no, say Olo, instead of saying no. Why all other Igbos, some can say Mba. Instead of saying well done, somebody can say Ibareala. Ibareala for what I suffer to do for you, instead of saying thank you. Or Dalo. Like every other place in Delta Igbo will say Dalo. That is Dalo. Or Deme, you say, you tell the person Ibareala for what I suffer to do. But that is their way of saying thank you. Like you have tried. Ibareala. This is Igbo language. It is very diverse. And we must welcome it that way. We have 9 villages in Oba in Anambra. We all speak different dialects. These 9 villages is almost everywhere that Igbos usually have 9 villages. It's 9 in Ogwashuku as well, 9 in Ila, 9 in so many Igbo, especially the founding villages. I heard a song from Enugu yesterday. That dialect sounded like it was from Delta State. Yes, when we and people from Enugu Ezike and some other parts of Enugu speak, you will think we are the same. Even in our words. I speak Igbo Izugbe, and my cousins who grew up in the village speak with Akpo dialect, and we have fun. So Igbo language, Igbo culture is unique and diverse as well. The diversity makes it interesting because Igbo na-atụ ilu na-asị na ọdịbe ndị na-adịghị be ndị narị ogiri isi na-agba mme is like a bleeding ogirisi. Imagine that ogirisi on its own is sometimes disgusting and then it is bleeding, it has blood in it. So, odibende na adihibende na adik ogirisi na abami. So, we have odibende in different places. We must all welcome all these odibende. We must all welcome our diversity as one of the things that make us unique. It doesn't mean we are no longer the same. It means we are one, but in different ways. Please double tap this video to give it a thumbs up. If you are also joining us for the first time, kindly subscribe to our channel. Help us to grow and reach our milestone of at least closing the year with minimum 15,000 subscribers. We would like to close this year with at least 15,000 subscribers. Please hit the subscribe button. Share this video to WhatsApp groups where you will encourage people to subscribe to the channel. I would like to end the live stream here so that I can take out time to create a video that I will post for you. Look forward to that video because there are many people spreading falsehood about the king of my community called Obi of Ubuluku, who crushed and defeated the Benin armies in 1750. I've seen different content creators from Benin extraction spreading lies about him. He fought as an Igbo king and he won as an Igbo king. I'm going to put out a video to demonstrate and counter the lies of the people who made that video. And I'm doing so with proven, documented works, not just verbally talking. Thank you so much for staying with me throughout the duration of this very live stream. And I will look forward to being with you in subsequent videos. Until then, please continue to promote Igbo culture. Continue to wear your Igbo identity like a crown. Subscribe to our channel to support the channel. Kodi na oge ọzọ, ụmụnne m ndị Igbo. Daalụ na. Ka o mesịa. Bye bye.